Welcome, everybody. We're very glad to have you come to this very special workshop where we're going to explore with Anna Maria Miller from Nashville, Tennessee, where we're going to explore things that we can do to conduct virtual rehearsals. So we're looking forward to learning a lot tonight and getting excited about some quasi singing together. Before we begin, I'd like to ask Father Costin if he would lead the group in prayer.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, Lord Jesus Christ, our God, we thank you for all the blessings that we received even in this very difficult year. We ask you to protect us throughout the beautiful nativity season, to keep us safe, our choirs, our churches, our families, and to deliver us from this plague, for we are holy to the ages of ages.
Amen. Thank you, Father. All right, we'll begin now. Anna Maria?
Well, hello, everybody, and thank you. I want to start out by saying I'm so sorry about last week getting canceled at the very last minute. You probably can still tell. I've tried to cover it up with makeup, but I've been struggling with what they thought was a severe eye infection, and then just found out today it's actually been an allergic reaction. So I'm still looking a little rough here, but I'm really happy that we're able to do this tonight. As Vicki said, I'm from Nashville. I originally from Pittsburgh, and but have lived down here for several years. And my day job is I'm an orchestra director at one of the magnet high schools here. And so we have been all virtual since the beginning of the year. And I had no idea March last year what Zoom was, and had no idea of any of that. We were always in person and quickly had to maneuver to try to figure out how to do something musical on a platform that is mostly for meetings and that type of thing. And so tonight I'm hoping, by the way, I am no expert, not saying I'm an expert at any of this. These are just some of the little tidbits that I want to share with you that I found from my experiences with my school and what we're going to be using with our choir. I'm excited to hear that some of you are actually getting to start to dabble in some in-person things again, but this may be something that you can do in conjunction with when you go back to some in-person rehearsals, because some of your population, your choir members, may not be comfortable coming out yet. They might not be comfortable or able to come around others. And so this is actually something that you can do totally virtual, or you can do in a kind of a hybrid setting where you could, if you had a laptop or tablet or whatever you were going to do it from as a choir director, or as somebody that's handling it for the choir director, the technical portions of this, you could do this with your in-person people as well. So hopefully you'll find something in here that will help you out. One of the very first things that I would recommend is for any kind of singing or instrumental music, there's a couple settings that you want to make sure that you have. And so I'm going to ask you to try to find these right now with us. And I'm going to hopefully help you find them. So these are audio settings. So the very first thing you want to do is find where your microphone is, where you have the setting for your mute. All right. And there should be a little arrow next to that. All right. So if you would, and if you're finding that, go ahead and
You're muted, Anna Maria.
Goodness. Okay. Not sure why that did that. Maybe I got a little aggressive with my my little arrow right next to mute. So I'm going to try it again. Hopefully it won't do it. Okay. You're still hearing me, right?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, great. So at the very bottom of that little screen, you'll see audio settings. And if you'll click on that audio settings, it will bring up a screen, and audio should be clicked. Now, about halfway down, you'll see speaker settings, and then you'll see microphone. you want to make sure that you do not have automatically adjust microphone volume clicked. Do not have that clicked, okay? That's the very first thing you want to check on. All right. Then if you will scroll all the way down, at the bottom, there should be advanced. All right. And if you find that, click on the advanced setting. And you want to make sure that you click on the box that says show in meeting option to enable original sound from microphone. Okay. Zoom is set up to do some things for meetings and speaker type engagements and that it kind of plays around with our sound and what can be heard and what cannot. And so whenever you're doing anything musical, you want to make sure that you have enable original sound enabled, okay? Now, once you get that, you can X out of that or get out of those settings. And somewhere on your screen, usually it's up in the upper left-hand corner, but depending on your device, it may be somewhere else. But you should see something that says turn off original sound. Do not click on that because we actually want original sound on. Okay? Is everybody following along there?
Anna Maria?
Yeah.
There is, John made the comment that Macs are set up differently.
Okay.
So if people are on a Mac, everything is going to look different to them.
Okay, well, I'm on a Mac. So
Oh.
that's so for what I'm explaining is what I'm seeing on my Mac.
Oh,
Okay,
and
I'm on
not
iPad.
Mac, and it was
I'm on a-
exactly the same.
Yeah.
I'm on an iPad and I do not see that at all on my iPad. But when I go to the Mac, I'll see it.
Yes, if you're on your Mac, and there is a place on the iPad.
I'm on an iPad.
Yeah, there is a place on the iPad. There is a way to get to this, but I don't have my iPad set up right now. So, I mean, you should be able to find audio settings somewhere, and it's usually somewhere around where your mic is.
I see them. May I ask you a question? You
Sure.
said do not have the automatic sound turned off. Is that was the second thing you said? Find your microphone. Then you said do not have the automatic. Can you finish that sentence?
Yes. Let's see. I have it written down here too, so that I can. So, unclick automatically adjust microphone volume.
Okay, unclick it. Thank you so much.
Click that. Yes. Okay. All right. So these are the two basic. There's some other fine tuning things that you could do, but if you get your people to do this, you're going to have a lot less feedback, a lot less different things happening during your actual performance. This still will not allow you to all be able to go ahead and sing together without any issues, but this will allow you to have a better opportunity of the music coming through and playing and different things like that without it cutting out as much. All right, so that's the very, very first thing that I would do. I would get your people to be able to go ahead and do that. The most important thing I said is the original sound, enabling that original sound, okay? And that just changes some of the settings that Zoom has, all right? If you as the director, if you guys are the director, you also want to make sure that in your original Zoom setting, when you go to set up your Zoom meeting, that you enable breakout rooms, because the breakout rooms are going to allow you to be able to do some sectionals with your people. And this is something that you can't, a lot of times you can't do in person, but it's very easy to do during Zoom. And the one thing that you would need to do is, and that's usually something in the original setting to allow the breakout room. So when you're setting up for your Zoom link and you're setting up when you want this, what date it's going to be. And by the way, I'll announce this again later too, but when you're doing your original Zoom setup, you want to make sure that other than enabling the breakout rooms, that you also want to make sure that you put this as a recurring thing. If you have your weekly rehearsals, You want to make sure you have that recurring on there if they're the same time each week, because then you pump out one Zoom link and it's so much less confusing for everybody. Because anytime you want to meet as a choir, and by the way, mine works anytime, like not even the times that I put in. For instance, if I want to get together with some of my students from one of my classes and it's a different time of day, I can just tell them, meet me in the chamber orchestra link. You could say, meet me in the choir link. And at any time, they should be able to go to that link to go on there, not just your times, all right? So it's really important to have that recurring link, because with some people not being as comfortable with technology, you want to make sure that it's easy for them. And once they have that link, they know that's going to be their choir rehearsal. That's their link for the rehearsal, okay? So those are a couple things that you need to do before everything gets started, okay? All right.
And Maria, before we go on, will those microphone settings, do those apply to an external microphone?
I believe so. I'd have to check on that, but I believe so. And I'm not sure, but I think it is, because I don't remember seeing anything that tells you to change it if it's not an internal mic. There might be something in at the very bottom of my sheet. Did everybody get the little handout that I had sent? Was that sent out to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't
So
get
at the very bottom of it in the back, I put some Zoom support links for you. Some things that if you want to just go and look a little bit more, there's something on the audio, there's something on the screen sharing, and they're just quick links that if you want to, you can go ahead and put in that are some Zoom supports, and I bet it would address that in there, okay? Okay, so let's think about beginning, all right? We've gone ahead and we've gotten everything set up. One of the things that I would suggest is I would highly suggest that you send your resources out to your choir members ahead of time. All right. Not everybody is comfortable looking at a screen the whole time. And by the way, every time I say choir director, if you're not comfortable doing this, or you have somebody in your choir that's tech savvy, they can handle all of this for you ahead of time, and you can just be the host for your rehearsals. So if you're not sure about all of this, don't let that stop you from doing this. I'm sure that there is somebody in your choir that could help you either gather the resources or do whatever it is that you need to do. So what do I think that you need to have? Well, we're going to get ready. We're going to kind of go through what we would do on a normal rehearsal. All right. So what I did is I made sure I had a recording first, and I happened to be able to find a YouTube recording. All right. Now, I'm going to show you something. Hold on a minute. So I'm going to share my screen with you. One second here. Okay. So I'm going to show you what you will see as host on the bottom, just in case you have not. I did a little screenshot here for you. Now, can you see this? What's highlighted with the pink? Can you just give me a head nod or something? Can you see that? Okay. So when you go to screen share, all right, you'll hover over the bottom of your screen and this little menu will pop up, and yours may have more, all right? Because now mine have a few more than this. It just depends on what you have. So as you'll see over here, we have mute. So if you needed to handle making sure that your audio settings were okay and you didn't do it before, you could do it here in this little arrow up next to your mute. Here is for your stopping video and any kind of video things you'd have. This is for setting up your security as the host. These are only being seen and can be seen by the host. And I think the co-host, you all see these, and Vicky? Yeah. So if you have some people set as co-hosts as well, then they can, and like maybe you had your organist or like your tech person, all right? They could be set up to do this. It shows you how many participants are in there. It shows you how you can pull up the chat. Here is where your screen share. All right. And so what I did is all I did was I made sure that on my screen, I had all my tabs set up. And so I have a tab for my YouTube video. I have a tab for my, my actual music. I have a tab for any screenshots that I might want to show. I have a tab.
Oh, you're muted again, Anna Maria.
Okay, I don't know. I'm not sure why it did that. It doesn't usually do that, but hey, that's okay. All right, just so you know, somebody will tell you in your choir if you're muted and they're not hearing you anymore. So you can just find your picture and unmute yourself. Anyway, okay, so when you push on screen share, you will need to make sure before you do that, that you have in the background your tab open that you want to be able to go through. So when you push screen share, it will show you different screens, and then you can choose which one you want to share with everybody. You'll click on that particular thing, like I clicked on this screenshot that you're seeing right now, all right? And then I'll say share. On the bottom right-hand corner, it usually says share there. You'll click share, and then it will show everybody this, all right? When you're done with your sharing, there are things at the very top that say stop the share. And when you click on that, it will take everybody back, okay? I want to show you while we're here also, this is where if you would want to record your rehearsal, you could click on it right there. And you'll see here, this is where you would choose to do breakout rooms, all right? Now, when we go to do breakout rooms, it brings you to some different options. And I didn't do a screen share of what that is because it's pretty self-explanatory when you get to that. It'll ask you how many breakout rooms you want. It'll ask you whether you want to set it up so that you assign the breakout rooms or you let the participants go to their own breakout room, or whether you just manually send them here, there, and everywhere, all right? My suggestion for your choir would be that you would do soprano, alto, tenor, and bass, all right? And make sure you have somebody assigned to each one of those rooms that can go over those parts with your sopranos, your altos, tenors, and bass, all right? What I did is, and I'm going to, do you want me to keep this up a minute while I'm doing this or unscreen share? I just want to let you, I want you to hear that we went ahead and did the different parts that we use in the breakout room. I'm going to stop sharing because just so you know, this is when you hover over the bottom of your screen, this is what pops up, what's in this hot pink here, okay? Or some semblance of it. So now you know where all that is. There you go. And I just hit stop sharing, okay? And so now I'm not sharing that screen anymore. Now, in just a few minutes, we're going to go to some breakout rooms, all right? And if we were in the breakout room, I wanted you to know that what I did ahead of time, my husband is the organist. He's actually a trombone player, but he plays organ for us at church. Anyway, he went ahead and I just used my voice memo on my phone, all right? And we went ahead and I had him record the soprano part for the piece we're going to do, the alto part, the tenor, and the bass. And those are things that you could send out to your choir ahead of time. You could just email the link to them, all right? So that they wouldn't have to do anything. And by the way, you yourself, I'm going to show you a few things on YouTube and that you could use as well, all right? For you, if you wanted to send the YouTube link out, I'm not sure how many of you use that. So I'm going to show you a few things about that in a minute. So we're ready to go. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to, while I still have my whole choir together, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play for them. And if it was a video, I have a YouTube link. If it was a video, I could show that video. I'm just going to play it for you. Well, actually, why don't I just show it for you a minute? Okay, let me just show it to you as we play it, because actually I want to show you a couple things that we can do with YouTube videos. So I'm sharing my screen. I'm finding where all the different, like I have desktop one, I have two, I have my laptop and I have a desktop, another screen. All right, so it shows that. My options are, I can also show a whiteboard. So say you had things you wanted to write out. Maybe you were gonna write some pronunciation out for your choir. You could use the whiteboard feature for that. And that's just something everybody would see in their screen sharing. All right, but I'm gonna go ahead and choose this YouTube video that I have of the piece that we're going to look at. All right. So everybody should be seeing Praise the Lord from the Heavens, the Rimsky-Korsakov. All right. And so let me see. Can you see my cursor as it's going around?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So, so what the very first thing I would do with my choir, no matter how you decide that you want to share what you're going to work on, whether it's your organist is going to play it, or you have pre-recorded it, or you found a recording from the many different resources there are, which remind me at the end, we want to bring that up, okay? Or you were able to find it on YouTube, all right? So the very first thing I would do is I would go ahead and play this for your choir. So I'm going to play a little bit of it for you. Okay, so you got a little bit of a, this is, and I would play the whole thing for the choir, right? But I wanted to show you a little something about YouTube videos that you might not know. So this might be a little bit fast if you were teaching parts to your choir. So I'm not sure if you know this, but on any YouTube video, there's a little gear down here, all right? And if I click on this little gear, the settings, you'll see that there is a place to go ahead and choose the playback setting, the playback speed, all right? So this is way too fast if you were teaching your groups and at the end, maybe you didn't get to this tempo and you weren't ready to do this. So right now it's set at normal. And is it showing you what I'm doing right here with this?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Okay, whoops. Uh-oh, what happened here?
Skip the ad, Anna Maria.
Uh-oh, here we go. I don't know why it went back to that because
No, you didn't, you hadn't paused the video and it finished.
Ah, yes. Okay, hold on a minute. Let me just go back to it. Ah, the power. Thank you. Okay. All right. So anyway, pause. All right. So over here, the gear, I'm going to take this and I'm going to set it so that it's at only 75%. Okay. And so now when I go ahead and play this.
Take the mute's on. The mute is on.
Isn't that a great little feature? Like that's probably one of the best things that I learned throughout what we've been doing. And I'm going to pull from this a minute. Hold on. I'm going to go back and I'm going to turn this one off. All right. Okay. All right. So anyway, that's one of the little things that I would suggest that you could use. You can speed it up, you can slow it down. And of course that was slowed down to 3/4. You can slow it down even further, whatever you're doing, but it's a great little trick. And it's something that you can do on your video. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of that. All right. Any questions on that a minute before I go on from that?
I have a question. Do you have to have a setting to share your computer audio so that it comes through? We use Microsoft Teams and at school, and we're going to share something. It has to be selected to hear it through the.
Yes. Vicki, you remember you had to do that the other day when we got on? You had to share, there is a setting that she had to do. I've never had to use that, but there is a setting so that it will play from your computer.
Yeah.
And I think you went down to, is Kitty
I
Hawk-
think, Kiriakos knows when he comes, he's supposed to.
On share screen. It's on share screen,
Okay,
at the bottom of the share screen.
okay,
I think you take off same as system.
yeah. I'm not sure. When we did that, I've never had to do that. Mine has always actually just played what was on there. But yes, if it's not playing something that you play through, then there is a setting, and we'll ask him at the very end. How's that? Okay?
Anna Maria, I had a question.
Yes.
It turns out that every time you would share a screen, my computer would jump out of Zoom. It was still on. The window still existed, but it would go back to like a home screen of the computer, like a desktop. And that happened twice just now, each time you shared, not when you unshared. Have you ever heard of that before? And if so, is there anything I can do to avoid that?
Was it showing you my screen?
No, I mean, down at the bottom where I have my icons of various applications, right? There, if I clicked down there at the little camera, I could bring back whatever it is that Zoom was doing at that moment. But every time you shared, it would pop out of that and take me back to my desktop.
Oh, I've not heard of that. I've not heard of that happening.
Okay, because it happened twice in a row. I will look into it, and if I figure out what happened, I'll let you know. Okay.
That'd be great.
Anna Maria, I've had that happen, but it was actually, I was doing the screen sharing and it was picking up my screen just before you saw everybody. So I don't know if, I don't remember if we all saw that. It could have been the host's screen or the presenter's screen coming up coincidentally.
Yeah.
Before the share.
I'm not sure. I've never heard of that before, and I have like 260 kids. So none of them have ever had that. So I'm not sure what the answer is.
My guess would be, if the Zoom screen is not maximized, and if by mistake we click outside that, then it would go to the desktop. But as long as we maximize the Zoom screen and only click on share, I think should be fine.
Yeah. And you all know about the views on Zoom, right? You know, gallery view, you know that you can pin to a speaker. You know that, right? Just, you can give me so I don't go into that. But usually it's up in one of the corners, like view, and it'll say speaker or gallery or full screen. So you can have it whatever you choose to. As the director, and if you're the host, I would suggest that you have it on gallery and not full screen, because you need to be able to see your tabs of the things that you're going to want to share, because you have to have whatever you're going to share up on the screen behind Zoom before you hit share screen. Otherwise, it won't show up as what is on your desktop to share. Okay, does that make sense? Hopefully I'm not losing you. Okay, very good.
Anna Marie?
Yeah.
When you were playing the Rimsky-Korsakov, did you have the audio settings that you told us about earlier?
I did.
Were those were set?
Yes.
One thing that we found was each time you started the playback, the volume sound started normal and then gradually diminished over the course of playing.
Ah.
It's something that we've found when we ran our meeting, and it has something to do with those settings. So that's why I was wondering if you had those settings.
So we should not share computer sound? on the share screen bottom left?
You should, well, wait,
Turn
no,
it off?
No, you should share.
Yes.
you should.
You should, okay.
because it's
Yes,
from the-
you should.
from the-
You won't hear it otherwise.
Yeah, otherwise you will not hear it.
Right.
And I'm not sure, like early on when we were using Zoom, sometimes that was happening, but we all use this now. Did you adjust yours to what we said at the beginning?
Who are you talking to?
Because we're in a meeting, we decided not to
Oh,
use musical settings.
Okay.
So maybe that's why it is.
yeah, because I know that since we've been using this, that wasn't happening, but that was something that was happening before. So hopefully that might solve that problem for you. And that might have been Zoom adjusting the sound, right? So,
That's
Okay.
right.
all right, great. Okay, so we're gonna go on because I want you to see what it's like to go to a breakout room in our actual rehearsal. So in our actual rehearsal, my plan is that we will play what it is, because usually, and even in our in-person rehearsals, but whatever hymn we're going to work on, we have the organist play through it. So here we're virtually, your organist could play through it from wherever, or you can find the recording as we talked about. All right. Then the next thing is that we want to maybe look at the music together. All right. And so what I would suggest is not everybody wants to look at the screen all the time. Sometimes if people have the ability to go ahead and print things off, it's much better to send the music to them ahead of time. So for instance, I'll show you what we're going to do. And again, you see we're using this share screen option before we even get into actually doing these other things to go over things that that we need to. All right, so for instance, here is the music, and I'm going to do some jumping around because I want to make sure I don't run out of time here. So here's the music, all right, that we're going to go over, and I've adjusted it. I have it just on one of my tabs so everybody can see what we're doing. But boy, wouldn't it be great if they actually had that with them, all right? And they could bring that up. Now, if you, when you're sharing screen, if you hover over the top of your screen, okay, as the host, again, and I'm going to show you in a minute what this looks like. You can do some things like you can annotate, all right? So say we're talking about, all right? Say we're talking about this beginning, all right? And I want to show everybody like, okay, so here we go. Oops. Uh-oh. Of course. Okay, so for instance, say I wanted to write something on here. I could go ahead and see this little screen that says text, all right? And what I can do is I can go ahead and write some text in here. Say, sopranos, begin, followed by whatever you're going to put in. But you get the idea, right? You can annotate right on your music, whatever you want right there. At the very top then, you can say clear, all right? And I say clear all drawings. I want to take that out, all right? Say I also want to go ahead and spotlight something, all right? So what I can do here is there's a little spotlight button. And as you see, it kind of becomes something so I can point out. I can go, oh, sopranos, praise that, you know, okay, or wherever. And you see here, sopranos, you can see, and it's a little spotlight. Are you seeing that? Spotlight?
Yes.
Okay. So it has lots of different features that you can use to annotate things, all right? Let me clear that a minute. We can go back. And do all kinds of different things, all right? There's an eraser on there. There's a way for you to format, like just say I want to highlight, I want to do things in like red, all right? I can go ahead and do text. I can change its color. Oh, wait, why is it not doing it red? Of course, everything right now is going to not do it exactly as we want. But let me go ahead and show you a minute where all of this is so that you can see. So if there's particular parts you want to go through with everybody, this is a great place to be able to go ahead and mark up the music. And I don't know about in your choirs, but in my choir, especially the men, sorry guys, that are in the back, they're always having a great time in the back. And I'm up there trying to talk to them or point out something specific in their music. And they'll go, but where are you? But where are you? And wait, where are you at? And so this is just a great way that you can draw whatever, you can do whatever. I can make lines, I can make squiggles, I can underline things. There's all kinds of little things that you can do so that you can bring this music to life and they can actually see it because they're looking on the screen. They have no choice but to see exactly what you're seeing. All right. So,
Maria,
yeah.
You, just to clarify, you were able to get to your little markup toolbar by hovering your cursor?
Because
Yeah, over the top of the screen. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. I did a screenshot before the workshop.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to show you in a minute here. Let me unscreenshot the music now, okay? But you all see how you can bring your music on here. And
Right.
you see that it would be positive for people to actually have the music in hand if they could. If they can't, though, they can all see this. And so when you're talking through whatever, a lot of times it went in the Greek in that we're talking about where things should lie or where you should breathe. You could put all your breath marks with everybody together and everybody is seeing the same thing. Okay, let me get out of this a minute because to share my next thing, that's the one thing you have to go in and out. All right, so we're back to the same thing. I'm going to bring up the other screenshot that I want you to see. All right, and now I'm going to go back and share this with you. All right, back down, same place, share my screen. I'm going to pull this up and it's going to show you. All right, so look, so I just screenshot. So when I hover over the top, when I'm screen sharing, this is what I see. My mute, my stop video, security, participants, new share, pause and annotate.
Oh, that's where you see it. Yeah.
Annotate is where, and look, you just have to hover over the top. Sometimes it's not in the same place. So you're going to hover over the top of that screen and this little bar will come down. So when you hit annotate, it brings all of those options, the draw.
Oh, wow, right.
Yeah, and so text box, it brings up where text box, it can bring colors. You can do all kinds of different things from there, all right? So it's a great little trick, all right? And I think, you know, if you play around with this, you're gonna see that this is just a really, really powerful tool to be able to use when you're on screen. Because so many times when you're teaching virtually, like it's like, hello, wait, are you all there? Like people need different things to be happening all the time. You want to move more when you're you're doing your rehearsals. You want to be more animated because people really only have about a 30-minute attention span looking at a screen. So if you can give them something else to look at, whether it's something hard copy or looking away or changing the screen constantly. Anyway, so here is where all of these things are. And like I said, that other screenshot I showed you is your bottom of your screen, but this is when you're screen sharing at the top of your screen. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and it brings us back to here. Okay, all right. So let's do a breakout room. Okay, why is my breakout room not showing now? There we go. Okay, so look, I'm going to send you all away. All right. Now, normally I would send you to a room and you would be voice specific. Or maybe you want to work your sopranos and altos together or whatever combination you want. Or maybe you're putting the soprano and basses together. Whatever it is that you want to do, you can do this. It's a little bit challenging to do it ahead of time. I would imagine that maybe if you have your set people that come every week, you might be able to pre-do it. But it really, if you don't have a huge choir, it doesn't take you very long. Tonight, because I don't know what you sing, I'm going to send you to a breakout room, and I'm going to set it so that you'll see that you'll be able to come back to this main screen. And say you have some choir members that might get involved in whatever they're doing in there and they don't come back. You can set your breakout rooms to end at a specific time. And they'll send something out to the breakout rooms saying, this is going to end in 60 seconds. You can also broadcast to all the breakout rooms as the host. You can do that. You can broadcast to all the breakout rooms and say, I need you to come back, or make sure you're looking at measure 10, or whatever the case may be. All right. So just so you have an idea of what a breakout room looks like, when I click on this, it brings up these, and I'm going to say assign. And I guess I think Vicki set this up ahead of time. So it is not going to allow me to randomly assign you also. Let me just put a bunch of you. So it'll show me when you say assign, it'll show everybody's name that's on the Zoom, okay? All right.
Anna Maria, isn't there a choice that people can select their own rooms?
Not set up right now.
Uh-huh.
Stayed in the main room, but I could have just jumped around from room to room. So say I had a specific thing I wanted to make sure that the sopranos were going over. I could go to breakout room 1 if that's where I had the sopranos. Oh, I should be calling everybody back. Hold on a minute.
That's fine.
Well,
I see.
I don't know if everybody got back, but let me just close.
Not quite.
Yeah.
There's a lot who haven't, I'm seeing, just because I took a screenshot when I popped in
Yeah.
of who was present.
Okay.
Olga Yamalis, are you related to Stephen in Pittsburgh?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I knew him from when I went to the University of Pittsburgh. I was OCF president for a year, and I knew him from there.
So I said close. There's a little thing in the bottom that the host has that says close breakout room. Say you tell them to come back and they're not coming back. All right. So you have the control. It's so awesome. You have control. You can just say close the breakout rooms. It gives them 60 seconds and then it automatically closes all the breakout rooms. And then everybody is back with you, whether they like it or not, whether they're done with whatever they're doing or not. Okay. So this is just a really fun thing too, and a really useful thing and useful tool for you to use. What did you think about? Oh, I was saying before, I can jump around. I could just join and keep going back and forth. And then say you're staying in the main room. People can leave the room if they have a question, or like Georgia did, you can say, Georgia needs help in breakout room 2, and it gives me the option to join breakout room 2 to go in and help. Say maybe they can't get that interval. They're not understanding that 5th right there, and they can't get it, and they want you to come in and help. All right, they can send you that kind of message. All right, so while it's fresh, any questions about the breakout room?
I just wanted to check. So you're in a small group, you've got the altos together. You might have somebody that knows the part, that's going to sing the part. They're muted while they're rehearsing, and maybe you might go one after the other to have them sing the part just to make sure everybody knows it, but you still don't have that singing together, right? Or are we?
You can try, and then everybody will laugh because it won't be
It
together.
won't work, right?
It won't work, but whoever is in that room, they can actually have a recording of the part, or better yet, if it's a person that has a keyboard right there that can pound out the part just like you would be doing in rehearsal. And then maybe you say, I mean, sometimes it's not too bad depending on people's latency. If you have a couple of them on mute or whatever, or have one of them unmute and sing along with you with that. All right. Okay. So that you can try some different things. Ideally though, the best thing is going to be them singing muted along with you playing. All right. Or whoever is playing or playing the part or playing the recorded part so that they can learn, they can hear it, they can sing along with it. And I think that is how we're going to use it. You know, I'll probably send Gary, who plays the organ for us, to one room. I have another choir member that plays the flute. I don't care if she plays that, for them to hear the line, or like I said, they can use something that's recorded. The beauty about if you're using something that you're doing live, if people are having problems with certain intervals or whatever, I'm not getting that part right there. You can just isolate that and do that part over and over. Okay. Did you like that experience, like zipping out?
There was a question. I don't know if anybody asked it, but can you share two screens? Can you show the sheet music on one and then have the YouTube playing on another simultaneously? I thought you showed us next to your annotate option, an option for opening two screens or sharing two screens, or
okay.
That was wrong.
I wouldn't do it that way. The way I would do it is I would share my screen and show my music, but I can play the music while I'm sharing that and not share the screen. Like, I don't have to share the audio. I don't have to share that. So, sorry, Barb, so I keep getting, I'm letting these people in because, or if you don't have, not seeing it. Anyway, but so for instance, let me just show you real quick. I'm going to share this music and then I'm going to, and then I'm going to play the YouTube. Share screen. And here's the music, so you all can see the music. All right, and now while you're looking at that, oops, wait, what are you seeing?
We saw YouTube, now we're back to the music.
Okay, so I would have to have my music separate because see, when I click on the, well, wait, let me try something.
We're back to YouTube.
There you go. So I'm playing it, all right, and you're seeing the music. So you could follow along. You could do your annotating. Okay. I could just listen to that all day anyway. Okay, that's what we're doing. Okay, so you see, so you would just have to make sure that what you were sharing, what you were showing, you can turn your music on, but then make sure that you're sharing the music, the written music. Okay.
Excuse me.
That help?
That helped.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much. Everybody that was in my group 4, remember I told you that I was so happy I was here because of Tula? Tula just spoke. Tula, will you say hello? I talked about you, how wonderful. You told me about this. That's Tula.
Yay, Tula.
He's the one. Thank you, Tula.
This is the Stockton University Oratorio's choral director, Dr. Beverly Vaughn.
Oh, thank you, Tula. Thank you.
Welcome. Welcome. Okay.
Anna Maria, I sent you a chat question, but was that the computer sound? Sorry.
It was.
Okay.
Yes. Was it bad?
The first couple seconds it took just to kind of click in, and then it sounded great after it clicked. Okay. That's why I wasn't sure if you started that way. Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem. All right, so we've gone over, and oh my gosh, what am I doing? Oh, I'm over time. So let me see. You know, we're pretty much, we've gotten there. I want to have some time for questions. So let me just go over then quickly. So that's how I would do our rehearsal. And so one of the things that you're going to have to remember is that doing a virtual rehearsal, you're going to have to do maybe a little bit more prep time because you're going to have to make sure that you have all of these things in place ahead of time. And it's not hard. It just takes, you know, you get better at it the more you go and the more you do it. Like I said, don't ever feel like just you have to do it. You can get others to help you with this. Setting up your Zoom link, a couple things to remember again. Set it up as a recurring link, all right? That way your choir is always on that same link. You don't have to worry about it. If you have basic Zoom account, remember that, that at times it's a 40-minute limit. So you may only have 40 minutes, so you may have to do something, and we'll talk about it in the questions at the end, to be able to go longer. Right now, in a lot of the basics, Zoom, because of the COVID, is allowing people to go longer than that, but not everybody, okay? Zoom settings. Remember the settings that we went over at the beginning, as far as the enabling original sound and how to get there, and then make sure that you're not allowing it to control. Don't let the Zoom automatically control your mic. Think about your pacing. All right, you're probably not going to get as much done because you're going to be switching and doing little things like that I did, and expect for glitches. Expect glitches. All right, because there'll be little glitches. That comes all the time with anything technologically based. Let's see. Rehearsal pacing is a little different in the virtual setting. Map out your rehearsal. Like, what do you like to do first? And remember, you're having limited time, so come up with a set of rehearsal etiquette. All right, virtual rehearsal etiquette for your choir. Like, do you want them muted all the time? Do you want them to be able to interject questions? It's really a personal preference. I actually prefer people to be able to kind of go and, you know, like, interrupt me. Not in the middle of a thought, but, you know, say, oh, wait, I don't really understand what you're doing. But not everybody likes that, and not everybody's effective that way. If you have a choir that's a little bit harder to rein them back in, and they like to chat, or we start getting off subject, you might want to have them muted more, okay? That's just something that, you know, your group, you know what is going to work best for them. Let's see, what else did I want to tell you? Let's see. Teaching choir members how to navigate. The very first rehearsal that I had, that I'm having when I have with my choir, our very first virtual rehearsal is going to be how to navigate, how to mute, how to unmute. Remember, for some of your members, they're not, this is so foreign. Okay, so spend the first rehearsal so that you're not constantly having issues with this. Let them know that you're going to put them in a waiting room first. Or, by the way, you don't have to do that if you don't want. That's a security thing, all right? But you can actually let them come on the link and they come right in. You don't have to let them in. So that's all personal preference. And those are all settings that you make, and you make on the web base first, all right? You don't make those particular settings on how your meeting is going to be run in the Zoom meeting. You set those up when you, in your web-based setting, okay? All right, so I think I'm ready for some questions. Do you feel like, do you better? Like, do you feel like you could do this? What's the most daunting thing that we went over tonight? What is the thing that worries you the most? You can unmute.
Getting the sound right when you play back music, getting a clear sound.
Okay.
Being sure that everybody is either on mute or not on mute, you know, so that they know if they're talking, if they're not talking, and that they don't have to have the microphone on. And it's just a matter of logistics. I think it's just like you said, the first rehearsal you're going to spend teaching them how to use this. It's going to be foreign for 2/3 of my people. It's going to be totally foreign. Yeah.
And they may be afraid. And I want you also to know that some people, and maybe not in a lot of your parishes, but some people are going to feel very insecure about their surroundings showing. You may have some people that do not feel comfortable with their backgrounds in that. And there are virtual backgrounds. There, you can set a virtual background to this. So, you know, kind of be understanding of that. If you have some members that, oh, I don't, you know, I don't feel comfortable on screen. I don't, you know, I don't like people seeing where I'm at. let them know that there are options to that. They can put up a beautiful slide of grease behind them, and it's not that hard. You can show them where to do that. Okay, that's in the video settings on the bottom, and all of you could choose to have something different in the background. It's better for you as the host it's better for you not to have a virtual background. You can, but sometimes you become very pixelated when you move.
Right.
If you have a virtual background, that's not so bad for your members that are participating, but for you, it's really better. I've used it for fun times when we've had like a party kind of setting where we, and I put like balloons behind in that, but when you move, it's kind of, you have this trail, right?
It's not good.
But I understand that there's things like that. And, basically it's not that hard to teach them where mute is. And you have the option to mute everybody at one time. You can mute the people that are on as the host. So if you have somebody that's struggling with that, you can mute them. Okay?
I just wanted to say a few things. I'm from St. Paul's in Hempstead, and I'm the organist and choir director. And I'm very lucky that I do have someone that can help me. And I call him my tech director. And he's not even in our choir anymore, but he still loves our choir, so he helps. And if you have any anxiety or trepidation about this, I get it. See if you have someone in your choir that could be a co-host. It really takes it out of your hands so that you can be the musical director. And, we talk to one another, Nick and I, and we get it done. And then it's wonderful because he puts the music on the screen if we need it. I send it to them. Some of them print it, some of them don't. He puts the music on the screen. He puts the music underneath it. Sometimes we sing along with fabulous choirs. Westminster Choir or something like that. We sang "Oh Come All Ye Faithful" a few weeks ago. They couldn't hear each other, but they were surrounded by so much good music that it gave them the confidence to sing. Because when you're singing by yourself, and you know how they are, they need to sit next to someone else in many, many cases. I hope you don't mind I'm saying this, but it's just that I've been fortunate enough to do this for a number of weeks now with help. They want to sing with people around them. So crank up a nice choral work, even Silent Night, whatever it might be, and let them sing along with that sound. But having a second person really has helped me greatly. I mean, I work with Zoom, but just takes it out of your hands, the technical. That's just a suggestion.
The other workshop I did, Kiriakos, I was so fortunate because he handled all of that for me. So I basically did my thing here, and he was pulling everything up. So he was running things, but it's good for you to know that you can do this if you don't have somebody that's there. If you do, it's just icing on the cake. And yes, I always finish after rehearsal of us singing with the work. And so if this would have been our regular, we'd have gone to breakout sections, we'd have worked, we'd have come back. Before we left, we would have sang along with the YouTube video so that it makes them feel like they are embraced by that music and encompassed, and they sing their part. They might not sing it right yet, but it's okay, right? It's just that feeling that you have, and that feeling of community and doing what means so much to so many of us that do this.
Anna Maria, I have a question.
Yes.
Those adjustments you had us make at the beginning of the settings?
Yes.
Okay, when we leave this meeting, are those going to go back to the original settings, or what? Are they going to stay?
They should not. Like mine does not go back to the original setting. Mine stays like this. The only way, if I didn't want original sound, I would just click on turn off original sound. But I'm going to tell you, I'm even in meetings with this, and I just leave it like this. So you can switch it back and forth if you want. If you find that it's causing you troubles, if you're having regular meetings, but mine stays on. So I think most people and my students stay on.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? I haven't been monitoring the chat, so.
Yeah, I'm monitoring the chat. There was a question, Anna Maria, about the length of rehearsal time.
Okay.
Like what might be the optimum? It might be different for like your youth orchestra, but for a typical church choir, You know,
Well,
because some people are overwhelmed with screen time and so forth. So do you have a recommendation of a time, at least at the
Well,
beginning?
For students, you know, they say that 30 minutes is a good amount of time. Now, we don't do anything in 30 minutes. So most of ours are about an hour. As long as you're varying everything, as long as it's not like them just staring at your face that whole time. You know, when we're switching screens and we're doing sharing and we're moving around a little bit in that, I think it helps tremendously. I don't think I would go over an hour. I think that I would try to keep it under an hour. And like I said, you just need to check and make sure. I don't know how many of you have Zoom accounts that are the not free basic, but the free basic are supposed to go 40 minutes. And let's see, I'm going to ask Vicki, you have some little tricks, right? Or Barbara?
Yeah, there are two of them. Yeah, it goes 40 minutes. And if you alert people ahead of time, that at the end of the 40 minutes, when they're timed out, we're going to take a 10-minute coffee break and then have them sign in and come in again for another 40 minutes. So that's one way. That's probably the easiest way to do it. The other way to do it is to set up 2 different Zoom meetings, but that would mean 2 different sign-ins. Yeah. So the people, you know, the danger there is they try to sign into the wrong one, but that's another way of doing it. And then the third thing is that some people have found serendipitously that Zoom lets you go a little bit longer than 40 minutes, but that, you know, you're best off, I think, planning on that 10-minute coffee break after 40 minutes, and then maybe coming back for another 20-minute wrap up or something like that.
Yeah.
I use Zoom for work a lot, and what we tell people typically when a meeting runs over and we're at that 38, 39-minute mark, I just say this meeting has 1 to 2 minutes left. When the clock runs out, please just click on the same link that I sent you to start the meeting, and we'll just take a minute or 2 while everybody comes back, and we'll continue. Yeah. And I'll tell you 9 times out of 10 that works. And I have everybody's phone number, so if they don't come back, I call them privately and I say, hey, can you please get back on that call? Everybody's ready to go, and you know, I help them out if there's troubleshooting. But 9 times out of 10, it works very well.
So
Just
does
the
that,
same link.
if you keep your rehearsal to about 45, 50 minutes, if you're going to try to do that, I have the free Zoom account, and during the evening time, I think because once it's post business hours, maybe things aren't as busy. I've gone way over and I've never been thrown off. During the day, peak times of the day, it may happen, but it's never happened on a weekend or an evening. So
I've never had to deal with that. Oops, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Kyriakos is right. Or Vicki, you should have that as the backup. Maybe in your orientation rehearsal, let people know that if this happens, just come back in. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you might also address what might happen, like at some time you might get kicked out. It's nothing you did. Well, unless they hit leave meeting. But other than that, you know, that's nothing you did. That sometimes that happens, and just come back in and if you have it set up to go to the waiting room, it'll ask, and you just have to have somebody watching the screen. If you don't want to have your co-host watching, to be able to let them in, so you don't have to stop what you're doing every time.
Anna Maria, I think it's for everyone. Starting January 31st, Zoom has put in a new security thing that everybody will be in the waiting room. So we will have to teach people there. And another tip that we've learned just through doing these workshops is the host, if you're the host or the choir director, open up the meeting maybe 15 minutes ahead of time, just to allow people to come in and chit chat and to problem solve any difficulties somebody might be having, so that when it comes time for the rehearsal to start, like at 7 o'clock, you're pretty much set to go. Otherwise, you'll frustrate the people if you have different people coming in after 7 and then somebody doesn't know how to do it and you have to stop, and it just messes up everything. So having that opening earlier than you're really planning to start is a good idea.
one of the things, if you want to get on and play with the breakout rooms, you have to, you can only play with them if you have people in your meeting. So you might like just have a test group of your people get on so that you can play around and learn the breakout rooms. Because if I got on this by myself, I have no controls for breakout rooms because there's one person, right? And so if you want to play around with those features and see, like Vicky said, I think when Vicky enabled the breakout rooms in the main thing, she probably set some settings up that didn't allow me to just manually send people out, because at school I can just manually send them to different rooms or whatever, okay? And it's a little bit easier. This took a little bit longer for me to do that the way it's set up. So play around with your breakout room settings. And to do that, you're going to have some people. So I don't know, maybe Zoom with all your family throughout wherever and say, hey, I need to have some test time here. And you can play with it that way. Anything else?
Yes, I have a question. Is it possible to actually sing together on Zoom?
It is, well, it's possible to sing together, but it doesn't sound very good because you're not really singing together, right? And the other thing is if you decide to conduct, it's really funny because I'll ask my students, I'll say, okay, now I'll say, okay, now I'm conducting. All right, am I conducting with what you're doing? And now, you know, can you play along with this, or can you sing along with this? And then I kind of get an idea of what the latency is. Sometimes it's better for me to just count than conduct, because sometimes the actual conducting pattern gets slowed down, where maybe if I'm like 1, 2, 3, begin, you know, kind of thing. And then I'll like rest, rest, rest kind of thing. And that doesn't seem to bother them as much as the conducting pattern. So I think there's more latency in the video portion maybe than the audio.
Well, the problem is that when someone talks and you talk, as you can see, we start getting garbled. So when you have 5 or 6 people trying to sing at the same time, they interrupt each other. And it's the last, I can't remember if it's the last one or the first one that makes the sound, that's the one that's heard. So you can't sing as a unit. We don't do that. We're all muted.
Loudest. It's the loudest that it picks.
Yeah, okay, which would be me usually.
In a group of all part Greeks.
Yes.
Mostly. And that's always a mess.
And I will tell you, it is kind of fun to play around with them a little bit and say, okay, now we're going to try to sing these first 4 measures together, because usually it's such a mess that everybody just breaks out laughing. And you know, I mean, that's what we need right now, right? We need to sing, we need to laugh, we need to have that feeling of like cutting up a little bit like we would if we were actually in person. And so try to make it fun, try to get them to do something. I mean, anything that you can do like this is better than not meeting at all, right? And so feel free to reach out to me. I don't know if you have any more questions, but I'm happy to answer any questions, to help. If you say, oh, you were saying something, but I can't remember what it is, feel free to go ahead. And you're going to put our emails in the chat. Kiriako, do you want to do that?
Sure.
Or you want me to put
I can put them in the chat.
Okay, because I think you can contact any of us, but like I said, I'm available as well, and
right, and we will hopefully we will be posting this on the web. I'm a little concerned because when we went into breakout rooms, the video, I got a message that the video stopped, and when we came back, I started it up again. And I won't know if that overwrote the beginning part or if it's an add-on or what. But anyhow, we'll have something up there. And we'll also have a sheet of all the contact information. So the website is the MEFGOX website. It's www.mefgox is MEFGOX.org. And if you look under the tab that says resources, you'll see all of the recordings of the various workshops that we've done through Zoom. Give us a couple of days before we get this one up, but it will be available for you too.
Hey, Vicky, could you do one more thing for me? Remember when I said to you, oh, we need like better resources so that we can find recordings of these things that we wanted to do. Can you share a minute where
Sure.
people might find some of those?
Yeah, I think a lot of us, at least in the Greek Orthodox jurisdiction, have found that there's not a lot of Greek Orthodox choral liturgical music on YouTube at all. There's plenty of Russian Orthodox, and the Antiochians have a lot. There's lots of chant but Greek Orthodox music is not there. However, thanks to a guy in Clearwater, Florida, Tony Gelarakis, he has started for the National Forum of Church Musicians, this is their resource, a SoundCloud. And whenever he gets a recording of a choir convention, he has put them on the National Forum SoundCloud, and he's got tons of them on now. There's Rubanish, there's Desby, there's Chris Kipros, there's a whole bunch. It's not everybody's, but at least that's a good starting point for you to find the hymns. So he'll have the liturgy recorded, but then he's broken them up into smaller sections too, so you can find the hymn that you might be looking for. So the way to find that is go to the National Forum website, and on the home page on the left side, down a little ways, it says National Forum SoundCloud. And if you click there, you'll see the whole array of music. Lots of stuff there.
Yeah, hope that helps.
Can I please ask, I'm sorry, I just want to get a little clarification from Kyriakos. When you were talking about when your meeting time's out after 40 minutes and you tell people to jump back in, do you not have to set up, like, does Zoom not say, oh, sorry, that link is dead because 40 minutes has passed? Or can that link still come back in?
I use the same link. So if I scheduled, let's say Anna Maria, Vicky, Barbara, and myself, and the four of us are meeting to talk about something, and the time runs out, I would just say, go back to your calendar, whether it's Outlook, Gmail, whatever, use the same link and hop right back in. It'll close for everybody involved, but typically what happens is if I get back on first, everybody else can just start joining again.
Okay.
Yeah, the other, just a little, remember what Anna Maria said in the beginning, set your meeting up as a recurring meeting.
Yes.
That's what enables that. So no matter when people want to sign in, they can. Now, if they're bumped out of a meeting, like at the 40 minutes, you can just come right back. Zoom thinks it's just a new meeting starting. And Kyriakos, what I notice is they'll still go into the waiting room. It'll just say host has not started the meeting yet.
Correct.
If you're not the first, if the host isn't the first one to go back.
Correct. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah. The best thing is that recurring meeting.
Yeah. And it's just easier for people if they lose. What I find in the beginning, people can't find the link and they want you to send it to them. But here you are trying to start the meeting. It gets really hairy for the presenter. So this way, the link is always the same. They can go back to an email from 3 weeks ago and still use that link, or one that from 6 months ago, they can use the same link.
As a matter of fact, because we've been, not only doing these workshops, but having meetings in between. And then I kind of hated to keep having to go search for the latest email or an old email. So I actually put it in my favorites and I named it MEFGOC Zoom. So now I have my St. George Zoom, I have MEFGOC Zoom, and I have my personal Zoom in my favorites. So then I just have to click on that.
Yeah.
You don't have to search for an email and you don't have to send it every time if you're going to have regular rehearsals.
And I just wanted to suggest, if you're doing regular rehearsals and you're having trouble with that 40-minute time block, a good idea if you're going to do sectionals might be to say, I'll take the bass and tenor section at 6. And at 6:25, I'm going to end it. I'm going to take a 5-minute break as director. At 6:30, I'll take the alto and soprano for 25 minutes. Take a break after 25 minutes, and at 7, I'll take everybody for that last 30 to 40 minutes. Maybe I'll direct 30, 35 minutes of that and then let them just chit chat. And if time runs out on the chit chatting. But I've run an hour and a half of rehearsal now where the men have had about 30 minutes of good rehearsal. You know, my women's section, my alto soprano had a good 30 minutes. And then we had 30 minutes of everybody together looking at the hymn, and we can look more in depth now because everybody's done sectionals first. So depending on what your strategy and who's in your choir, that might work for you. If you have a smaller group, maybe you want everybody at the same time, but just a different idea.
Also, I don't know, most parishes might have it, have purchased the Zoom. I know our parish has. So, you could, if you wanted to have a long rehearsal without interruption, you could ask to use the parish Zoom. And if they didn't want to give it over to you or whatever, they could set it up. I mean, my priest has done this where he's set it up and we've gone in, he's made me the host, and then he's left the meeting. So
same with
if
us.
if you got really good at it and say that we were getting close to singing and you wanted to have, a longer rehearsal or something and without interruption, that's an idea too.
I hope this helps. I would love to know if you try this and how it goes. I think we all would, wouldn't we? It would be great. I wish you all the best. Everybody stay healthy and kalakaris too,
And Anna
Thank you.
Maria, before we go, Anna Maria,
Yeah.
Thank you.
before we go,
Thank
Anna
you.
Maria, they had the printout that Vicky had sent. A lot of people, I guess, didn't notice it or didn't take notes.
Oh,
We were going to offer another sheet afterwards with
okay.
kind of a detail, weren't we? Did we say that we were going to do that?
No.
Yes.
If you look on the very first email, the one before the postponement, the first one I sent, the sheet was attached to that. So that was maybe 2 weeks ago.
But that was an outline for them to be able to take
Yeah.
notes. I thought we were going to follow it up with some of the information inserted.
Do we have a way of sending it out after right
We'll
now?
we can put it on the website, Anne Maria. It'll be right with the.
All right, so I'll go ahead and make some extra notes on there for everybody. All right, and that way, in case you missed anything, that at least a little additional information will be in there from the.
And they can rewatch this if hopefully it recorded correctly.
I hope.
And they have all of our contact information I posted in the chat here.
Okay.
It's on the flyer as well. And Vicky, if you want to make sure it gets onto the website again.
Sure, it is.
Thank you.
And before, I want to say on behalf of MEFGOX and the National Forum of Church Musicians, a big thank you to Anna Maria for helping us to sort through this. Lots of good stuff, Anna Maria. There's one thing for those of you still on is I'd like to ask you to just fill out a quick evaluation poll, and I'm launching it right now. And there's just 3 short questions. We'd appreciate hearing from you about what you thought about this workshop. Stay tuned for us for after January. We plan to do some more, and we'll let you know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna Maria.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see
Bye,
you.
group 4. Bye, breakout room 4. Thank you.
Bye, Beverly.
Wonderful. I was very blessed. Thank you. Thank you. Learned a lot.
Back anytime.
Thank you.